Well, it's Sunday afternoon football at Darling Street Oval, and it's two sides desperate to ignite their season that go head-to-head. Newcastle Olympic still chasing that elusive first home win after a frustrating start, knowing today is a golden chance to lift in front of their home supporters, but standing in their way. And Adamstown Rosebud side still searching for that first win of the campaign. And while the results haven't come their way just yet, there are genuine signs of progress under Martin Slade. Two teams with a lot to prove on this Sunday afternoon. I'm Harry Scoveny. Alongside me for this one is former Newcastle Jets striker, current New Lambton forward, and golden boot leader. What else would you expect, Tara Andrews? Tara, nice to have you along here for the evening. What are you expecting from this one?
Yeah, it's a beautiful afternoon for football. I think obviously these two teams are both pretty desperate for some points today. So, we've got them a point apart on the table. I think they've both got something to prove. Olympic coming off a pretty big loss last week, and Adamstown obviously want to find some points. So it's going to be a pretty close match, I think. I think the first 20 minutes are going to be imperative to either team to try and get that momentum, and then, if they can get an early goal or two, that might shape the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'm expecting a tight battle here. This is Olympic's third home game, I believe. In the previous two games, they've been edged out by Buildup and Magic in the last week. The thrashing, you could say, to Maitland. Still await both teams to come out. There's been a few changes to the team sheet, which we'll run through in a minute. Tara, another win for your girls last night at New Lambton. Must have felt pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I feel like we probably weren't expecting that type of result, but I think it was pretty good against Lakes. Obviously, to get a clean sheet's always nice. But Lakes are a tough team, and we just obviously were a bit more clinical in our chances last night. So yeah, really good result for us.
Current golden boot leader as well. Are you going to try and chase down for 32, I believe it was, from last year?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be ideal if we could get at least that again this year. That would be my aim. So we'll take it week by week and see how it goes.
Crazy stat that. Well, you obviously did yourself quite well in round one. I believe you bagged 5. So that was, I called that game, and I believe that was one step towards trying to hit that 32 mark.
Yeah, put me off to a good start, which is nice.
Obviously, Tara's New Lambton and all the other teams have the bye next week with the Easter break. So I believe this is a final football action before we do into the Easter break. And let's run you through the two teams for this afternoon. There's been changes on both ends, most notably for the home side. Newcastle Olympic starting in jersey number 1, Isabel Aquilina. Number 2, Isabella Threlfo. 3 is Gemma House, who got on the score sheet in the 9-1 loss to Maitland. Number 5 coming into the starting side is Rosie Copas Brown, sister of Libby Copas Brown, former teammate of Tara Andrews. Number 8, Jessica Evans, the captain. Well, I think Gemma House is captain today, but Jess Evans has been the skipper in previous weeks. 10 is Sophie Wormsley. 11, Sophie McDonald. 13, Eva Donnelly. 22, Zora Bukowski. 30 is Kate Heath, and the substitute for Neil Owen's side. Number 4, Sarah King. 7, Maddie Howard. 12, Emily Hingston. 14, Annika Horvat. 23, Georgia Kalkuli. And 41, Akar Bard. It's a tricky one, that one, on the bench there for Olympic. Let's run you through the Adamstown side. There's been plenty of changes to Martin Slade's side. They've obviously had the bye and ready to go, chomping at the bit this week. Starting in goals, number 1, Olivia Sneddon. Number 2, Sophia Laurie. 4 is Georgia Hogg. 6, Evie Horgan. 9, Sarah Knowles. 10, Lainey McFadden. Number 11, Georgia Cook. Number 12, the sister, Sophie Cook. 14, Ashley Vedder. 23, Tanya Jones. And 39, Eleanor Hayes. On the bench, it's a bit of a shock. Number 8 is Jenna Doyle, not starting and not wearing the captain's armband this afternoon. Number 20, Stella Morgan. Number 26, Sienna Friend. 28, Minnie Granger. And 35, Mary Nitswang. A few changes to both sides this afternoon, Tara, most notably for Adamstown, though. Nitswang and Doyle, two crucial parts of Martin Slade's side on the bench, Sabo.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I'm not sure if there's been any injuries in the last couple of weeks or why those two are on the bench, but they're pretty critical players for the Adamstown Rosebuds. So I think, they'll be looking to try and bring them on pretty early. I'm sure Marianne Swang will try and come on, not long after half time to try and make an impact. So we'll see how that plays out today.
Well, nonetheless, as I mentioned earlier, Adamstown, the fresher of the two teams, with Olympic with a point to prove, and that's why this one shapes up to be a great battle. It'll be Gemma House to get things underway. Chilly afternoon here at Darling Street.
Yeah, I think the wind might play a bit of a part. There's a bit of a breeze across the field, so I think Adamstown might have the wind behind them in this first half.
Adamstown in their pink and black kit hasn't been utilised a lot this season, but Gemma House is getting us underway to round out round 6 in the NPL Women's Miss Olympic. Straight away on the attack, the ball aimed in the direction of House. Does get a touch on. Signs of intent early from the host. Donnelly with the build-up play down the right-hand side. Olivia Sneddon now slow down things. It's a different backline combination for Martin Slade's side this afternoon. Eleanor Hayes partners Georgia Hogg in defence. So interested to see how those two combine and see out the threats that Olympic have going forward. Olympic in their white kit, and here is Bouldery. Does well to win it back. Looks inside. McDonald now, she's got runners pouring on forward in a crucial intervention there. Adamstown now searching to get the ball up the other end. It's been a high tempo start so far. This ball slipped on in behind, now looking for the run of Cook. Jones picks it up inside the Cook. That one flashes wide of the post, but 2 shots already in the opening few minutes.
Yeah, what are we, 3 minutes in and we've had a shot at each end, so I think it's going to shape up for a pretty exciting game, and I think both teams will try and grab this game now and get a little bit of momentum.
Limpy now trying to work it out from the back. That pass, a little bit of too overhit. You know, this game's so important for both these sides, especially from an Olympic perspective. Coach Neil Owen said midweek that there were some senior girls in the squad that were going to lead training, lead a bit of a conversation about the importance of being prepared on a match day. And to be honest, it's been a start that they wouldn't have been after this year so far, Newcastle Olympic.
I think Newcastle Olympic are normally a team where, you know, every year they're in the sort of top 4 or they're fighting for that top 4 position. So I think for them to start this year, it's probably a bit of a shock. Obviously last week a big loss to Maitland, and I know how that feels, so it doesn't feel good, and you sort of have to look at yourself and look at your team and see what you can do better. So I'm sure after last weekend they've got a bit of a point to prove, as you said.
A lot of teams on the receiving end of defeats from Maitland so far this season. They picked up yet another win on Friday night at home at Cook Square Park. 4-2 win, fiery 4-2 win over Broadmeadow Magic.
It was, I think, a couple of red cards for players, maybe one for the coach. So 4-2, that's a decent result for Magic against Maitland. I think they're a very physical team, which caught Maitland off guard.
Yeah, not many teams taking it to Maitland this year. Magic were probably one of the first teams to try and get in that physical battle and try and grind it out with them. Fair credit to them. Just shy of gaining and leaving Cook Square Park with a point. Aquilina now. Jess Evans, the centre back for Olympic, tries to put one down the line. First time ball played back into the path there of Jones. She is clipped by Evans, and Adamstown will have a free kick in a pretty promising position here.
Yeah, it's a pretty good distance from goal. Might be a little bit wide, but definitely worth a shot with the wind behind you.
Looks like Morgan's the one who has gone and grabbed the ball. She's got the height, most notably of Jones, in the box to try and pick out. See what she can conjure up here. Morgan's ball, played to the front stick. Cleared away in the time for Olympic. Copus Brown battling, and looks like she's won aside a goal kick.
A little bit disappointing, that free kick. Would have been nice if you could get a little bit higher to obviously, aim for Tanya Jones in there, or even take the shot. I think you've got the wind behind you. It could be swirling in the wind as well, so you may as well take a chance.
Olympic deciding to play this one out from the back rather than going long. Long ball searching for Denelli. Just runs out of play. I think Adamstown are one of the only sides in the competition to have their players' names on the back of their jersey. As well as in behind, sneaking now, is Sophie Cook. Cook's cut back only as far as Threlfo. She's happy to clear that one over the sideline. Yeah, something that I've just noticed. I'm not sure if I'm wrong or whether I haven't picked up on other teams doing it, but I noticed it earlier in the season.
Yeah, I can't remember if any other team does. I haven't really noticed it either.
Really ambitious shot taken. Lani McFadden trying to catch Aquilina off guard early. Olympic now decide to pump it long, only as far as Horgan. Both sides struggling to get their foot on the ball a little bit. Here is Horgan. Lovely change of play there from the Buds, but dispossessed for now. Bouldery's got the run of House in behind, but a great interception by Jones. Replacing Jenna Doyle in the starting 11 today. Now that pass, I think we've got an offside in the build-up there from Jones.
Adamstown have started to keep the ball a little bit, start moving it wide. Got a little bit more possession. I think the wind's definitely helping. It's a bit hard for Olympic to get out at the moment. And Adamstown are winning it and keeping the ball and trying to go forward.
Something they've looked to do a lot of times this season. The Buds is trusting their principles in keeping the ball. Now it's Olympic up the other end. Denelli got space in front of her. First time ball. Hold up. House. Lovely little feint. Lays it off to Bouldery. They just weren't on the same wavelength. The two attackers there for Olympic. Here is Bouldery.
And I'm sure if Gemma House had that one again, she would have taken the shot left foot.
Trying to catch Utah in the golden boot. She's a fair way behind you, that's fair to say. Yeah, certainly she would have loved that chance back. She picked up the only goal in their 9-1 loss last week against the Magpies. Within the first 2 minutes, she pounced on an error. She'll be dangerous and probably a key part of this game if Olympic are to pick up a much-needed 3 points. The free kick this time goes away of Newcastle Olympic.
Cook's just a little bit too slow on the ball there. She probably had an outlet to the right wing to Ashley Vedder, and she just had that extra little touch to give Olympic that bite.
Here's Gemma House dropping deep. First touch a bit too heavy, and Sophie Cook can now try and start a counter-attack for the Buds. That ball trying to play up the line to Vedder. It's good to see Darling Street fully completed after they've made multiple changes to the ground here. It's good of a few changes in and around the ground. Tara, I don't think you're yet to play here this season, though.
I don't think, no, we haven't played here this season. It's obviously a very nice place to watch from now, and the change rooms, actually I must have played here last year because I was in the change rooms, and they are very nice, probably one of the nicest in the competition now, so it's nice to play here. Good facilities.
Even better canteen as well, some will say. Certainly known for their food, Newcastle Olympic.
Is this the famous chicken burgers? Or?
Certainly rank high the Newcastle Olympic when it comes to food. Here's Jones. Clip there. by Threlfo, and she'll win a foul and a yellow card. The first booking of the afternoon goes the way of Newcastle Olympics number 2.
Tanya Jones just being a little bit of a menace there. A couple of times now she's been taken out by Olympic because she's getting in really good positions, dribbling past and having a fouler to stop her momentum.
So it was Horgan that took the set piece a few minutes ago. It'll now be McFadden to stand over it. Does have options to her right. McFadden lifts it in. Threlfo clears. Danger still not fully away for Olympic. Now, ambitious. Probably try to get that ball a little bit more in the air to make a bit of a challenge, but Aquilina will come across, get the ball for a Newcastle Olympic goal kick.
Yeah, 2 little good chances there for Adamstown. Obviously, a couple of free kicks in good areas. They just haven't been able to take full advantage of where those free kicks are.
Bouldering now. Bit of space in front of her. Looks ahead for the run of McDonald. McDonald will get on the end of this one. Back inside of Bouldery, just not on the same wavelengths. And now Adamstown look to start a counter-attack. The offside flag stays down for now. Now it is raised, much to the disappointment of some of the Adamstown faithful in attendance this afternoon.
Yeah, they're not happy about that one, but from up here, it looked like it was offside.
Tanya Jones, though, always a huge threat in behind. She will be this afternoon. She's got really every attribute you could want as the striker. Good in the air, good at making runs in behind. She'll be a tricky customer to contain this afternoon. Here's Evans. Olympic struggling to get their foot on the ball. A little bit tara in the early stages of this one.
Yeah, I think they're just, they're not really trying to play out. They're sort of going long a little bit more often, but not really being able to keep it then up the front or not finding their pass when they are going long. So I think if they tried to sort of play through the lines a little bit more, get a little bit more control, that might help.
Bouldering now. It's pretty crowded there on the halfway line. Well, one back though. Danelli, she's been busy to start this one. There's a bit of space out left if Olympic can find it. Here is a ball in behind. And again, Tara, like you alluded to, some players not on the same wavelength so far for Olympic. Boskowski now loses out. Vetter chasing this one down. Got Jones in the box, but Evans coming across. Still not cleared, and Jones wants a corner, and that's what she'll receive.
Yeah, and that all started from as you say, 2 players not really on the same page. Yeah, with McDonald not making the run that Boskowski sort of thought she was going to make. So counter-attack then the other way. Ash Vetter obviously a very quick player on the right-hand side there, and now a corner from Adamstown for Adamstown.
But a few set pieces to start this one have the Rosebuds. You know, corners proved difficult for Newcastle Olympic to contain. Maitland last week, Talia Gosner got a hat-trick of headers in their 9-1 win. Can Olympic see this one out? Jones, it falls to her, she falls to ground. Back to her feet now, which is a good sign. Olympic looking to get things going quickly. Got a few runners in behind if they can find them. Offside flag staged down for now.
See, I'd like to see there Olympic probably try and keep the ball, recycle it out the other side. They're just trying to force it forward, and they're not really finding their players, as I said earlier.
Here's Gemma House at the other end. Cleared away. Now Vetter up against Boskowski. Vetter, this will be a good battle to watch this afternoon. Not much going forward for Olympic, but they'll get a handball here.
And it's a little bit of a trap that you fall into when you play against Adamstown. They play a very high line, so you always feel like you can get that ball in behind, but you do need to make sure that your run is timed perfectly. You've got a bit of a curve, and it's obviously they've got a pretty narrow back four, so making sure you can get it through those gaps.
Blaskowski's delivery high into the air. Not many Olympic players contesting it, and a bit of a juggle from Sneddon, but she does well to hold on. Sneddon immediately lost one down the other end. Jess Evans wins the header up against Jones. Gemma House now, good aggression off the ball, wins this one, looks for the early strike. An ambitious dive from Sneddon. And she might have injured herself in the process. Referee coming across now. Probably not too much need for that dive, Tara.
I think she must have lost sight of where her goal was. I think obviously Gemma House won that ball back pretty quickly, and she probably wasn't in her right position and maybe didn't know where her post was, which is why she dived for that one.
Good aggression shown from Gemma House, though, and here she is again, played in behind. Gemma House! What a finish! She got the opening goal last week at Darling Street Oval. She does so again here. And after a tough opening 10 minutes or so, Newcastle Olympic take the lead.
Yeah, that's a brilliant finish. Obviously come across, it's in the air, and she has to make really good contact with that and make sure she stays over the ball to not hit that over the bar. So a brilliant finish there from Gemma House, and I think a little bit against the run of play for Olympic maybe, but it's been up each end, probably 50-50 in this game, so a good start there for Olympic.
That now makes it 5 games. Each and every game that Adamstown have played this season, they've conceded first. It was something that Martin Slade said midweek they were looking to fix. Obviously had the bye last week, so only the 5 games for them so far, and they've conceded first in every single one of them. So, look, they haven't been bad at all, have the Buds. It's probably, you could say, in some ways, against the run of play.
Yeah, I think the Buds have been really quite decent. They've been keeping the ball. They're trying to play through lines. I think, there's one moment there where House has pressed the centre back and won the ball to start that off, and then they get a little bit of momentum, and then the cross comes in, and they're with the run of play. So Adamstown have been doing well.
It's been really tough to take, but they're immediately on the front foot here. Jess Evans trying to keep this one in. Can she reel it in and prevent it from being a corner? She does so well. Must be tough for Martin Slade, knowing that he's started playing such good football in the opening exchanges, but that's not converting to anything on the score sheet. But they're not out of it yet. Lovely run from Cook. Dinks it up in the air, but the runners were too beyond. Now Donnelly for Olympic. Cobus Brown can't get it under control. Here's Horgan. Bit congested in that midfield. Donnelly wins out. Gemma House now dropping deep. Just a bit too much on that pass.
Yeah, I think Adamstown just lacking that sort of final third, whether it's the instinct to score or to get in the right positions, that final pass, that final shot. They're getting the ball up the field. It's just that last little bit that is obviously the money, worth the money, scoring all the goals that they can't seem to sort of get.
You can see a clear identity in the way they want to play their football this year. It's just translating that to performances. There's now an early shot taken. Certainly had some power behind it from Georgia Cook. Interesting to see Gemma House. Noticed a bit last week as well. She started to drop deep and sort of allow the wingers in Boulder and Donnelly on forward. I know that's something you try and do as well at New Lambton, how coming deep, and then you've got quality wingers in your side as well, like Pickett and Trappett, who can go on forward. Jones now, did that shot take a deflection? The Buds want a corner, and that's what they'll get. We'll go back to that in a sec. This time Horgan across the take. It's been her and McFadden on set piece duty so far.
just hope that this corner, beats the first defender and gets into an area for the Buds that's dangerous.
Story of their afternoon so far, that one played right to the front stick.
Yeah, it's just it's really like when you're a striker and you get a corner and that sort of comes in, it's really disappointing because you think that's just one chance that I don't get, a potential chance that I don't sort of get to have.
It must be frustrating for centre backs as well, who make runs on forward from their usual centre back positions to only see a corner come to nothing. Morgan now, she's been busy early in this one. Vetter. Ball over the top. Yeah, getting back to that point earlier on Gemma House, I'm noticing she's dropping a bit deeper. How key is that for then the wingers to get on forward? Because you know that if she picks up the ball, she can find them.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both coming in to give some space for the wingers, but it's also, someone like Gemma House, and generally why I do it too, is it attracts a centre back with me. So generally they'll come in, which will leave a pretty big gap, obviously, in that back line, which either the wingers can make their run inside or the 10 can go beyond and then make that forward run as well. So it's just about creating a hole.
Well, here is Gemma House searching for a brace. Gemma House early strike. Not too far away there, just over the crossbar. But again, another example of how quickly Newcastle Olympic can break then.
Yeah, and Gemma House has obviously pulled out wide there as well. So the other reason would be that sometimes as a striker, you've got centre-backs, behind you, sort of putting a lot of pressure. You've got a 6 in front that sort of comes in and tries to win the ball. So for Gemma House, she wants to get on the ball a little bit more. She might just pull out, whether it's wide or into the midfield, to try and pick the ball up and then be able to face forward and play those balls forward.
It's an interesting formation, the way Olympic are setting up today. Team sheet has it down as Sophie McDonald and Gemma House up front, but I think, as Gemma House has done in previous years, has that freedom to drop deep when she wants. Sophie Cook coming out worse for wear there. Here's Rosie Copus. Olympic leading 1-0 early in this one, thanks to a clever finish from Gemma House. McFadden touch a bit too heavy. House. There's a few runners on forward. Can't find them now. We're up the other end. Jones. Up against Threlfo. Bit of shirt grabbing between those two. That's a good battle. Adamstown continue their attack. Cook has runners on forward, but again, can't find the pass.
As I was saying earlier, just that final pass for Adamstown, probably not the ball there to play from Sophie Cook. There was a lot of defenders creating that space, so whether the ball, they take it wide and then try and open up that gap again.
Adamstown, nice interchange of play here. And an early strike hits Jess Evans. Bouldering now, happy to pump it forward. Cook, there's space out left here for Laurie. Slips it through. Vetter up against Jess Evans. She's been strong early, Jess Evans, in clearing everything that's come her way. It's a bit end-to-end, this one so far. If you're only just joining us, Gemma House's early goal separates the two sides. Adamstown will be disappointed, but they've shown some positive signs. It's now that ball early played in Jones. And a shot taken. And despite Olympics net behind the goals, that one's going to sail over onto the main road.
Yeah, look, I think it was the right idea for Georgia Cook there at the top of the box. A bit of a layoff there from Jones, and she would have probably wanted that one again to try and get over the ball a little bit more, maybe take a touch before she had her strike.
Both coaches pretty calm early on. I'd say Martin Slade will be hungry to get that equaliser. They have shown good signs of Bud Jones with the feint. That one just runs out of play. Knowles. Bit of head tennis going on the touchline. McFadden, nice one-touch football. House trying to win it back. Now it's fell into the path of Bouldery. Looking beyond. It's quite congested there in the midfield. The ball will fall out left now for Sophie Cook. Cook has the run of Jones. Jones up against Rolfo. Great block. Olympic seeming a bit more organised in defence today compared to previous weeks, Tara.
Yeah, they are. They're quite solid today. I think Adamstown are definitely trying a few different things to try and break down their defence, but they are staying strong. I think a much better start compared to last weekend.
Most certainly.
I'm sure they would have worked on the back four and the back six during training this week.
To Olympics' credit, Maitland are shaping up as the team to beat, but obviously conceding 9 goals, certainly not what they would have wanted, especially at home. On a huge day, it was here last week at Darling Street Oval. We had 4 games, both reserve grade and first grade Olympic versus Maitland across both the men's and women's. This time last Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. Maitland are a very good side, and if they're on, they're very good, and they can break down teams what seems like very easily.
We've got a star-studded side. Do the Magpies and Ben Horgan shaping up early to be the team to beat in this competition. Jones limping for now, tries to play a run 2 with Vetter. We'll keep a close eye on that. Tanya Jones as the game develops. Now it's Heap. 1-2 with Copus Brown. A bit of space opening up now for Heap. Not too many runners on him behind. Horgan now to Vetter.
And Adamstown are not giving Olympic too much space, and they're finding it probably a little bit difficult to play out at the moment.
That high line certainly working for the Buds.
Yeah, the Buds are they're a very young team, lots of energy, so I feel like when I play against them, at least they can run forever and they won't stop.
Although if I'm right, you did bag a brace that day earlier in the season against the Buds.
Yep.
Is there a club you haven't scored against, Tara?
Not Maitland this season.
Now it's a run from Vetter. Adamstown looking for a reaction after trailing early. McFadden switches it out to Laurie. Not many options in the area, but she finds a touch, and in behind there, Jones so dangerous with her runs in behind off the ball.
Yeah, that was a very good chance there for the Buds. A good ball by Sophia Laurie. It's a hard angle to shoot, and obviously Jess Evans was right on Tanya Jones there, not giving her too much space, so difficult shot to take.
Not too much space. Both sides sort of minimising either side's space on the ball. I think if you can get it into the wide areas in this one, it could prove dangerous. Especially that battle in the midfield so far has proved quite congested. Adamstown doing well to win it back here. Horgan. Has a few runners in behind. Laurie, the flag stays down for now. Options in the box. This one's high. It'll come all the way to the back stick to Georgia Cook. Her left-footed strike. Probably didn't realise she had as much time as she had.
No, that's right. She definitely could have probably taken a touch and recycled it out. And maybe got it back in the box there. Rushed that one a little bit. Came off the side of the boot. It's gone out for a goal kick.
Jess Evans now. Adamstown happy to sit off for now. Under hit pass finds Vetter. And Vetter, early strike. Not too far away there, Tara.
Yeah, decent strike. I think it's hard to see from this angle, but maybe a metre or so. Good strike, good connection. Fair bit of pace on that one.
Olympic are really struggling at the minute to play out, and when they try and get it on in behind, Adamstown are alert. That switch will open up the play a little bit. Evans. Boskowski out on the far left-hand side. She's kept this one in well and now releases into the path of Bouldery. Olympic pouring runners off forward. Bouldery, but well tracking back, is Laurie, but can only go as far as conceding a corner.
Yeah, that was really good tracking back there by Sophia Laurie. Thought Bouldery was away, and if she could have got that early cross in, but she just took a few more touches and gave Laurie a chance to catch up. There's a possibility here to go short for Olympic, but Wormsley assessing her options, sending some of her centre-backs forward. You know, Adamstown have been a bit wasteful with their set pieces. What do Newcastle Olympic have to give here? This one played to the front stick. Confusion. Bouldery gets a touch. Still not cleared. Newcastle Olympic out for another corner. That one proved dangerous though. Yeah, very dangerous ball there. Just beat that first defender and then dropped sort of in front of Snedden. I think there was another attacker there that maybe got a touch.
Bit difficult to see when there's a scramble like that in the box up from where we're sitting. Here comes the second corner, cleared off the head of Horgan. Thrown back in by Heap, Bouldery, but the offside flag is raised, and Adamstown see out that. Snedden now will pump this one long. Boskowski happy to recycle through Aquilina. Now Boulder is released in behind. It's a good battle out there between her and Vetter. Now releases it forward. McDonald. McDonald still searching for options. Not too many Olympic bodies forward. Decides to recycle in Wormsley. Switch over to this right-hand side of your screen, and that is a foul. They're committed by Knowles. Olympic, this is a dangerous position.
Waiting to see who steps up to take this one. I thought Gemma House might fancy her chances from that distance. It looks like they might try and deliver this one in the box.
Rolfo looks to be standing over it for now. Probably the same position where Josie Morley delivered the free kick last week for Talia Gosner's hat-trick. It's dangerous, this for a right footer in particular. Olympic use the option, Heap out to the right. Heap's first time ball and into the hands of Snedden, and Gemma House gives her a little bump on the way. Snedden, for not the first time this afternoon, goes to ground.
Yeah, a little bump there by Gemma House. Obviously, striker's instinct. She wants to get to the ball no matter what. So,
Snedden back to her feet, which is good to see. So Adamstown, as it stands, do sit on the bottom of the ladder 6 rounds in to the competition. It's been an up and down ride for them so far. Certainly seen signs of improvement under Martin Slade, but just translating that to results, Tara, is the problem so far for them this season.
Yeah, Adamstown, they're not a bad team by any means. They're playing with the ball quite well. They're trying to actually play through teams rather than over. They've got some good combinations. It's just that, like I said earlier, the final third, whether it's the pass, the shot, the run.
Talking about runs, Veta now going on the run. Hits it with her left foot into the hands of Aquilina. That would have been the commentator's curse there, Tara, if you said they're not penetrating and they went down the other end and scored.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good attack again, but it's just...
I do agree, though. They're just struggling to penetrate in that final third. But you can see the one-touch football in particular is something that they seem to pride themselves on. And obviously that high block, as you mentioned earlier. And to be fair, Olympic have been okay in this one, but Adamstown have stopped them on occasions from playing that ball in behind. McFadden now. Georgia Cook. Jones trying to make the run. Jones up against Rolfo. Tries to reel this one in, but come off the right and the left and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think that pass from Cook's probably just a little bit too wide and a little bit too much weight on it. Probably could have driven a little bit more and maybe taken a shot.
So Olympic again, try play out from the back. Adamstown defensive line on that halfway line. Threlfo. Looks long, now McFadden. Recycles the play, slows things down a little bit. Now they shift it out right through Laurie. Good footwork from Laurie. Bouldery wins out. Jenna House now recognises a run out on the right-hand side here. There's a chance for O'Donnelly. Snedden way off the line. And Danelli says thank you very much. And it's 2-0 to Newcastle Olympic. The early ball in behind from Gemma House. And Danelli capitalises.
Yeah, good finish there in the end. I think Knowles just wasn't sure if that was an offside call, so she sort of stopped chasing back, and then Snedden was caught in a little bit of no man's land and couldn't do a lot with that.
It's tricky in that situation for a goalkeeper to decide whether to come out, and if you obviously do commit, got to make sure you make something of it. Nonetheless, 2-0 to the home side.
And I'm sure that's got to be quite frustrating for Adamstown. They've had a fair share of possession in the last 20 minutes or so. A couple of shots and then, a moment like that.
Here's a chance though. Jones can't get there, and at the back stick following in was Sophie Cook. Yeah, it's frustrating that they can control games in patches, and as I alluded to earlier, that was something that Martin Slade wanted to see an improvement from his side. Certainly matching Olympic for energy, having that week off, but as you've mentioned, Tara, they're just struggling in attack to translate something to goals. All their good plays coming unstuck so far. Well, one back from McDonald. Olympic starting to find their groove now. Knowles does well to intercept that one. Snedden to Hayes. Veta now. Good footwork to beat Boskowski. Veta certainly seems a spark for the Bud side. Slips it through. In behind now. The offside flag yet again raised.
Yeah, and I think Jones probably thought that pass was coming earlier than it did. I think Veta took a few more touches and she'd already made a run a little bit too early.
Here's Aquilina. Hasn't had too much work to do so far in this first half. Bit of a breeze coming over this afternoon at Darling Street Oval. This is the last game before we hit the Easter break next week, so no football to bring you here on the Northern New South Wales YouTube channel, but good to have NPL football back and in full swing across both competitions.
There'll just be a couple of minutes left in this half.
Aquilina, Adamstown bench urging the press, but Olympic have done well to play out. Can Boskowski reel this one in? Does so well on the far side, slides to slip it through there to Bouldery. Now the offside flag raised yet again.
Probably the 4th or 5th time Jones has been offside, and I can see it from up here. She's standing offside.
She's also limping a bit as well. I mean, they've got a good replacement in that swing. If they needed her in the second half, I'm sure she's capable of adding a bit of spark, whether she plays at striker or drops a bit deeper in the midfield. Would you expect changes at the break from an Adamstown perspective?
I don't think the break, maybe not long after the break. Yeah, it depends if there's any injuries, but I think they would wait just a little bit longer, see if there was a reaction after half-time. But Tanja Jones doesn't look very comfortable at the moment.
Looks to be struggling a little bit. Maybe the half-time break can't come quick enough for her. It'll be interesting to see if she returns for the second 45. Certainly feeling something there. I'm not sure at what moment it happened in the first half, but seems to be struggling. Olympic now, Gemma House playing as a right back on the ball now. She's got to be careful. That switch though is nice. Open ups play out left for Boskowski.
Sometimes when you drop in like that, you forget that you're sort of in the back line and you can't really dribble the same as you can in the front with a little bit of security behind you.
Yeah, she's found herself in the midfield. Gemma House got runners coming on forward. Right back, midfield. Where next?
Might see her at goalkeeper next.
Bouldery now. Lovely pass played through to Nelly. There is confusion in the box. Adamstown struggling to clear. McFadden though can get it under control. But again, judging by Martin Slade, his reaction a bit frustrated by what they're seeing, what he's seeing in his side so far. I'm sure he'll be pleased with the fact they have kept possession for a lot of this first half. But Tara, I'm sure at this stage of the season, you'd trade a win. They must need 3 points, most certainly.
Yeah, that's right. I think as much as it's brilliant to be able to keep the ball and keep possession and play through teams, the final product, you need the goals, right? That's why we play football. That's why everyone comes to
matches.
That's right. That's what wins football matches. So if you can't get that, it's always going to be frustrating.
Morgan now. Adamstown sort of now or never if they were to claw something back before the half-time break and give them a bit of spark heading into the second half. 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline, so I'm sure Neil Owens make sure Olympic don't have any complacency creeping in. Maybe they're in the hunt for another. Gemma House in behind. Sneddon out to claim. Long ball now, aimed for Jones. Still looks to be struggling. But now Vetter. Been promising early on. Wormsley wins out. Does so for a second time. It's a battle in the middle of the park. Referee doesn't give out. Now he does on the halfway line for Newcastle Olympic. It was Walmsley just found about 2 or 3 players grabbing at the shirt there.
Yeah, it was a good battle. I think a little bit illegal, obviously.
So Olympic only with the 1 win to their name this season, yet to do so at Darling Street Oval. But as it stands, they'll hit into the second 45, having to hold on to a 2-0 lead. Here's Rosie Copus, an early ball looking for Danelli. Danelli gets inside, and not sure if that was a cross or a shot, but never mind. That ramps up the first half action here at Darling Street Oval. Newcastle Olympic, 2 goals in that first half, sees them head into the sheds ahead by a quite comfortable margin. While from Martin Slade's side, plenty of work to do in that second half. And Tara, it's been the story of the season, I guess you could say, for the Buds, where held the ball really well, but struggling to translate that to goals.
Yeah, look, I think if you looked at the stats, I'd assume that Adamstown would have had more possession, and they're playing through. It's just that final product that they just can't get. I think Olympic, probably had maybe 3 or 4 shots, and they've got 2 out of those. So I think they're just a lot more clinical, and Adamstown will be looking to find some of that in the second half.
Well, it's Olympic 2, Adamstown 0. We'll take a short break here on the Northern New South Wales YouTube channel, and we'll resume things for all the second half action.
Oh yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good. yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good.
Well, welcome back to Darling Street Oval. Round 6 action here to round out your weekend. It's Newcastle Olympic that will resume the second half. Ahead 2-0 on the scoreboard. It's been an interesting first half. Adamstown, as well as Olympic, starting to make their way back onto the field now, but alongside me, Tara Andrews. Tara, what do you take that from that first half?
Yeah, look, I think going in 2-0 at half-time, Olympic would be very happy with that, considering they probably had the less number of chances than Adamstown probably had less possession as well. So I think, Olympic would be very happy, but I think Adamstown will want to come out in this second half and be a little bit more clinical in front of goal. It's that final third that's just letting them down at the moment. So it'll be an interesting second half, that's for sure. Interesting to see
Tanya Jones has stayed on the field, despite having a few niggles in that first half. She's such a key point in Adamstown if they are to turn this one around. You'd think, Tara, though, that they'd have to score first if there were any chance to try and claw their way back into this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll have to score first if they want to stay in this game. And if Olympic get another one, it might just dampen the Buds just enough.
We are underway for the second half. Both teams with a point to prove. Olympic looking for their first win at home this season. Well, for the Buds, looking for their first win in general this season. Both teams, as well as every other team, got the week off next week. As now Adamstown early on, starting the second half the exact way Olympic started the first, and we'll have the first set piece of the second half.
And I hope Adamstown start their set pieces off better in this second half than they did in the first half.
Set pieces, such a crucial part to a football match. That one's better, high into the air. A few bodies in there. It'll fall for Vetter. Early strike over the bar, but good signs from Martin Slade's side.
Yeah, that's a tough strike. The ball was sort of rising as she struck the ball, so it's a really difficult one to get over and keep the ball down in that scenario.
Definitely now. Assuming Olympic, as the game goes on, will start to slow that clock down a little bit. How big of a relief will that be if they are to pick up the 3 points today? Evans, lovely switch to open up play down this side. Boskowski has the run of Bouldery in behind. Bouldery the target. Bouldery, but coming across is Hayes. Been impressive as Hayes, obviously in place of Jenna Doyle, who is on the bench this afternoon from the Buds. Get back to that in the second. Olympic now down the other end. Donnelly, House, Gemma House. Shot deflected, still alive for Olympic. Fancy footwork, House played in through. Puts a bit of friendly fire there. Bit of action to start this second half, Tara.
Yeah, look, I think it started similar way in the first half. There was a shot at each end within the first couple of minutes, so it started the same way. We'll see if it ends the same way, but promising stuff from both sides.
That's a huge challenge from Jess Evans, not allowing Vetter to get in behind. Now Walmsley happy to reset through Aquilina. I believe this would be Olympics' first clean sheet of the season, if I'm right, so a huge confidence boost to that for Aquilina if they were to not concede. Here's House. Can the runners stay on side? If so, that ball searching in behind. Nick Faden. Laurie now. Intercepted well by Boskowski and immediately looks for the run of Bouldery. It's been a good battle on that far left-hand side in the first half between these two. Good to see them in front of us for the second half. Bouldery wins out, tries to shield this one out for a throw-in. Does so well. Boskowski, will she shape up for the long throw here? Looks for the target in behind of Gemma House. That one come off. Nick Faden last. Adamstown. They had the first corner of the afternoon. Olympic will now have theirs.
There's a couple of dangerous corners that came in from Olympic in that first half, so they'll be looking to do a similar thing, try and get it right in the 6-yard box there and cause some havoc.
Only 3 bodies in the box for Olympic. Kopis and Boskovsky out on the edges. Play towards a keeper. House gets a touch. Adamstown clear the danger and now looking to start an attack of their own. Vetter up against Evans, looking to turn on the afterburners is Vetter. Tries and cut inside, but Evans crossed to intercept. Been impressive today at the back for Newcastle Olympic. Space again opening up. Wormsley wasn't able to get her foot on the ball. Here she is now. Wormsley, will she use the width of the field? Tries to look for House. House gets a little touch, but into the arms of Olivia Sneddon.
I think as this second half goes on, obviously players start to get a little bit more tired. So as you said, it'll open up a bit more. We'll see which team that favours. I think Olympic might have a few more chances then if they can just try and use that final pass and that final shot a little better.
Zora Boskovsky now lofts one forward, looking for House. Gemma House being so dangerous for Olympic so far, dropping deep as well like we touched on in the first half. Here's a chance for Heap. Heap one-on-one with Hogg. It averts a danger. Maybe as time goes on as well, Tara Adamstown will look to commit a few numbers forward, get net swing onto the field and maybe try force an extra number forward, because another loss today and sort of puts them in a troubling position heading into the Easter break.
Yeah, it does. I think it'll be interesting. And Swang want to bring her on relatively soon, just to try and see if you can change something else up the front. And then it'll be interesting to see where Jenna Doyle might come on us. I don't know. You don't usually change your back line in a game unless there's something really going wrong. So it'll be interesting to see where she comes on.
Well, I believe she might have played a bit of defensive midfield before in her time. It's interesting to see if those two most notably will be utilised. Pretty quiet on the bench for both sides. Not warming up as of yet. Here's Bouldery. Looking for the 1-2 with Rosie Kopis. Now McFadden trying to line one up for a strike. Not enough there to trouble Aquilina.
Yeah, and hitting from that distance, you either need some wind behind you or a very venomous shot. So just pulled that one a little bit wide.
Huntslade urging the press here from the Buds. Ball played forward and Bouldery does well to shield Laurie off. Here's Boskovsky coming across. Was Cook. Wormsley now, the 2 number 10s going at it. Rosie Kopis in field. Threlfo. This is good football from Olympic, and as soon as I say that,
commentator's curse.
Happens way too often. Both sides, though, have shown good patches with the ball. Adamstown, there is the commentator's curse again. Here's Gemma House, though. Urged on forward. She's got a bit of a run of her own, Gemma House, and it'll fall into the path of her. She gets a brace. Newcastle Olympic have 3. And it's clinical from Gemma House. 10 minutes into the second half. Olympic further extend their advantage.
That's right, and just like that, one run from Gemma House, a bit of a dribble, obviously a little bit of luck there that ricocheted off the defender and straight into her path, but those are the chances that you've got to take. And now with Olympic 3-0 up, it's going to be a hard end of the second half for Adamstown to come back.
Huge mountain to climb now for the Buds. They massively needed to get that next goal heading into the second half. Gemma House says otherwise. The Olympic stretch out to a 3-0 win. We knew they'd come into this game with a bit of urgency, not only needing a win, but also a win in front of their home faithful. believe that goal takes Gemma House to 4 for the season. Slowly climbing her way forward on the golden boot list.
Yeah, I think Gemma House was injured for the first couple of games with, I think, a knee injury. So good to see her back out there in fine form.
Yeah, didn't feature a couple of weeks ago against Broadmeadow Magic here at Darling Street Oval. But she's back with a bang. Back last week, obviously on the wrong side of the scoreboard here at Darling Street when Maitland ran out 9-1 winners, but they sit in a comfortable position now as it stands. Walmsley in a battle with Cook. Horgan now gets the back of Boulder, and Gemma House sends that one forward, looking to release the run of McDonald. McDonald continuing her press, now back to Snedden.
I think at this stage of the game, Adamstown should probably look to make some changes. Obviously, you're 3-0 down. You need to do something a little bit different. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next, 5 or so minutes we see a change.
Martin Slade, quite casual on the bench. It's one of the more coaches that stays calm in moments like this, although he has been barking orders, particularly in that first half for his side. Bouldering now. Played in the reserve grade grand final last year at Darling Street. Key part as to why Newcastle Olympic gained silverware there last year. Good to see her work her way into the starting 11, but a bit of activity happening on the Newcastle Olympic bench. Let you know if any changes do happen in the meantime. Isabella, Aquilina on the ball now. Probably one of her more quieter days, Tara. Always wonder whether goalkeepers would prefer a quieter day or whether they'd rather be in and amongst the action. Comes at a cost though.
Yeah, look, I think they prefer the quieter days. They want to win, obviously. But any goalkeeper have been in a team that has lots of shots against someone, just say it's more practice. You're just going to get better.
That's it.
So you can look at it one of two ways.
Well, she's certainly been busy in the opening 5 rounds as Gemma House on the hunt for a hat-trick. Wouldn't be surprised if she goes and gets that hat-trick, Tara.
I would not be surprised at all. I think she's been getting in some very good positions today. She's very hard to defend, so still plenty of time left to get that third.
Plenty of time indeed. Olympic happy to slow the game down now. Evans. Infield to Walmsley. First time pass, looking for the run of Bouldery. It was the right idea, but coming across and cutting out was Hogg. Laurie. Moments like this is where Adamstown have shown good moments with the ball. I just need to find that running behind. I'm interested in Jones's return in the second half, especially after the couple of knocks that she sustained in the first half, as that will be a foul there committed by Cook. The referee today happy to keep his cards in his pocket for now. And it looks like, judging by the activity to the left of your screen, that Jenna Doyle will be introduced potentially in this play. And it will be a like-for-like replacement. So Eleanor Hayes departing the field, and Jenna Doyle to come on for the Buds.
Substitution for Adamstown Rosebud, coming from the field, number 39, Eleanor Hayes. Number 8.
It's a good change for Adamstown. I think it might just make them a little bit more solid in the back line. I don't think Eleanor Hayes did much wrong, to be honest. Saying that, Jenna Doyle is a very experienced centre-back. Might be able to steady the ship.
I was going to say, I think This is Jenna Doyle's 6th season at the club for the Rosebuds. Not a lot of times does she feature on the bench, but she'll play the remaining part of this one. And like you mentioned, Tara, look to solidify things at the back. That ball looking for Boulder in behind, Sneddon out of her line. Does well to come out and clear that danger. Adamstown already gone to their bench once. You wouldn't be surprised if that's the first of multiple changes from Martin Slate's side in this second half, as they do trail 3-0 on the scoreboard. No foul there on Laurie. Now Wormsley. Left-footed cross into the area, and Sneddon does well to claim. Good hands there by Olivia Sneddon. Vetter now, there's a bit of space opening up here for the Buds, especially out left to McFadden. Vetter going on a run of her own. Vetter still, and promising run comes to an end. She had McFadden out to her left, decided to take a shot on herself. Probably not the right option there, Tara.
No, I wouldn't have said the right option at all. I think Ash Vetter got in great position to be able to face forward, get past her defender. If she played that ball out to McFadden early, she was in acres of space and she could have taken a touch and beaten that back line.
She's probably looked one of the most promising alongside Jones at times as well. As here is Jones. Early ball into the area. It's a dangerous one. Aquilina comes out to claim. Can't catch it, but there is a foul in the build-up. But again, coming across was Throlfo, so even if that wasn't a foul on Aquilina, Throlfo clearing the danger, but Aquilina keeping that clean sheet intact.
Yeah, good ball by Tanya Jones. Probably could have pulled it back a little bit further there for Cook to run onto. But some promising signs here from Adamstown in the last couple of minutes.
Will it be too little, too late for the Buds? Nelly now trying to go on a run of their own. Adamstown looking to create some chances of their own. Jones. Offside flag stays down for now. McFadden. Nice drag back. Now into the path for Knowles. There's not too many options in the box, but Knowles puts it high into the air. Woskowski does well to head it away. Now Laurie. Nice dummy. Horgan. Laurie looks for the target of Jones. Now Olympic with a chance to break. Gemma House making the run in behind. Fortunately, touch just a little bit too big. Good footwork here from Sophie Cook. Adamstown looking to create something of purpose. It goes out left. A few options in the box. Straight into the hands of Aquilina.
And Kate Heap just put enough pressure on there just to not get that cross quite pulled back enough for Adamstown.
Jenna Doyle up against House, and Doyle, has she clipped Gemma House here? No cards to be shown for now. Maybe the referee will reach to his pocket.
Probably not the best option to take there. I think probably should have tried to go up with the head. Gemma House is going to try and pounce on anything, any type of bouncing ball, a bad touch or anything like that. So that high foot there from Jenna Doyle.
Jenna Doyle has to be mindful of challenges like that. Only coming on a matter of minutes ago. Olympic have two subs of their own ready to be prepared. But Wormsley will take this free kick for now. She does go short. Throlfo takes an ambitious strike. Certainly the right option. Probably could have drove into a little bit more space, but now that allows us to head to the substitutes. Will be a double substitute. Eva Donnelly, as well as Kalia Bouldery, departing the field for Newcastle Olympic. Coming onto the field, Maddie Howard, jersey number 7. And Lee Hingston as well. So a double reinforcement. Neil Owen's side looking to get some fresh legs, particularly in the final third. Gemma House looks like she might have moved to the right. Understandable, changes at this time of the game. Maddie Howard, already 2 goals to her name this season, so good play to bring on here. Are the Buds at the other end though? Again, it's just broken down. That final product just lacking, as has been the case, Tara.
That's right. We've mentioned it a few times in this game, and it's, I just say, that final product, I think it would be really frustrating for Martin Slade that he's getting in these good positions. You know, they're playing the ball around, and it, you know, that final pass, that cross.
Well, I called Adamstown against you guys at Order Park a few weeks back. And I remember the conversation with Libby Copus-Brown was, yeah, can they penetrate? Because up until moments like that is where it sort of breaks down.
Yeah, that's right. I think that, look, they've had enough ball and enough sort of chances to get into the final third. It's just what they do when they get there.
As I mentioned, this game here this afternoon rounds out the round 6 action. We had Maitland continuing their impressive form, running out 4-2 winners on Friday night. While New Lambton put Lake Macquarie to the sword last night at Order Park. An impressive 4-0 win. This one will roll out for a Newcastle Olympic corner. Maddie Howard across the take.
I think last game I called, it was Olympic v Charlestown, and I think at half-time it was probably 0-0. Maddie Howard came on in the second half and scored 2 goals, so she's definitely capable of putting it in the back of the net. So
good handy replacement to come off the bench, and that corner was a dangerous one. Sneddon, despite conceding 3 goals, has been strong between the sticks for the Buds. Talking about substitutions in the next stoppage of play. Looks like Georgia Kalkouli will take her place onto the field. Probably gives us a good chance to now. Is that ball out for a goal kick? So only the 1 substitution for the Buds so far. Olympic, this substitution I believe will be their 3rd. Will be Kalkouli on. Throlfo takes her leave. And this one's been solid at the back this afternoon, Tara.
She has, yeah. I'm surprised she's getting taken off, I guess. Like I said earlier, you don't usually change your back line unless there's, you know, an injury or something going very wrong. So, you know, potential Georgia Kalkoulli's just come on for a little bit of experience, so 3-0 up. But yeah, a good showing by Threlfo today.
Looks to be a like-for-like replacement there at centre-back. Adamstown relatively quiet on the bench, although net swing warming up. Morgan now threads it through. McFadden, space out left if she can find it, but across coming was Wormsley. Now McDonald in a battle there with Jenna Doyle. Now Adamstown, can they keep their runners on side is the question. It goes out left and the offside flag is up again, Tara.
Oh man, it's just very frustrating, isn't it? Obviously Sophie Cook was trying to get back on side there, but something that you do need to sort of think about when you're trying to play through ball. If you look up early enough, can you see that the player that you're playing to is onside? So a little bit of awareness there from the person playing the ball, as well as obviously the runner trying to stay onside.
Yeah, I think if that pass was played a touch later. You might have saw the flag stay down. Battle of the 23s now. Kalgoorlie with her first touch off the bench. Up the line to Hingston. House now the target up against Doyle. Bit of a grabbing between those two. Doyle now for a second time with a strong talent challenge. Vetter now. Good footwork from Vetter. Needs the help of her teammates, can't find it. No free kicks given now. Copers slips it through. Hingston's onside, snatted out of her box. Comes out at a crucial time. I think she was out that second later. Hingston would have been in on goal.
Yeah, it was a very good ball, very nicely weighted. I thought Hingston was going to get there, but obviously Snedden normally stays pretty high as a goalkeeper and is ready for any sort of through ball, so she was onto that one.
Olympic certainly not slowing down. In the mood for more goals in this one. It's been a much improved display from them today. Neil Loman spoke midweek about the importance of a win at home. Howard now with the flick. Now Adamstown up the other end. Olympic getting numbers behind the ball. As you can see, next stoppage in play should see Netswang be introduced. Question marks as to why she was not starting this afternoon. Obviously a decision from head coach Martin Slade. Left that substitution in a second. Doyle now. Howard dispossessed. Laurie in field. Now it finds its way back out to the left. Howard. Searching for options. Clever pass to Kalgoorlie. Kalgoorlie looking to use the width. That one should allow to play, although it will stay in. For now, Snedden wants it to be a goal kick, so we can see the introduction of Netswang, who will now take her place for George Cook, who will depart the field, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like Nswing might come into that number 10 role if they don't make any sort of formational changes here. So she'll sit in just behind Tanya Jones and might add that little bit of spark and finesse in the final third for them.
Quality player, Netswang. She knows Darling Street Oval quite well. She was on the, unfortunately, losing side of the grand final here last year in Maitland colours. It's now Doyle's pass, not where she wanted that to go. Walmsley, Netswang looking to get into the action early. Hingston looking for the 1-2 with Copus, right idea. Adamstown now getting runners forward, but great tracking back. Heap. Evans now. Pressure being applied from Jones. There's a bit of shirt grabbing between the two of them.
Good challenge there. I think the first pull, Tanya Jones pulled Jess Evans back and she thought, I'm going to get you right back and not let you get that ball.
It's been a bit of shirt grabbing today. Maybe frustration creeping in for the Buds. I'm sure it would have been mentioned pre-match, the importance of going out there and trying to get something from this game, especially with the week off next week. But Olympic have looked the hungrier of the two sides. Hingston trying to thread it through for House. Goskowski. Walmsley. Goskowski continues her run on forward. Vetter now. She's certainly been a spark in a losing side. Ashley Vetter for the Buds.
Yeah, she has. She's had a lot of good plays, you know, whether she's dribbling the ball forward or she's trying to run in behind.
Talking about runs in behind. The flag stays down. Jones up against Kalkuli. That one drilled low and hard across the ground. Just sees it go wide off the post. Not enough to trouble there, Aquilina.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think Vetta's had some really good touches in this game, and I think just lacking, you know, whether that's the final decision of when to pass or where to pass, or when as she's dribbling through, just to get, you know, maybe she's lost that last touch before her shot. So I think if she can try and tidy that up a little bit, she'll be very lethal.
There are good players in this Adamstown side. They've certainly got players that can hurt defences. Here's one of them in net swing. Deflected. Jones pulls one back for the visitors. They're eager to get a move on now. Fell right into the path of her there, Tara.
It did. There we go. Ash Vetter on the right-hand side. A ball in behind. Obviously get that early cross in and Swang, who sort of put it into the path of Tanya Jones, deflected off the defender, and that was an easy one to finish. But might put a little spark into these buds. We'll see if they react.
Well, she's been knocking at the door all day, has Tanya Jones. There was question marks as to whether she'll resume the second half, but she goes to 3 goals for the season. Adamstown potentially now have hope in this one. Bit of intensity now shown by the visitors. Neil Owens quite rowdy on the Newcastle Olympics bench. Sneddon out wide to Laurie. Laurie looking for runners. Goes for Jones, but across comes Jets Evans.
I get that there's nothing set in stone in this league. You know, you're in a position where you're 3-1 up. Momentum can change pretty quickly, and you know, if Adamstown bring enough energy and get the ball forward early, they could have a couple more chances. Well, for the majority of today, they've looked. Oh, and Gemma House still alive. Sneddon coming out in a battle there with Hingston. Starting to open up a little bit this game, a bit end-to-end. I was going to say for the Buds, a lot of their play when playing out from the back has looked for Jones in behind. Just talking about it in behind. Here goes net swing on a run down the left. Uses her body to good effect. Still in the battle with Kate Heap on the far side. Kalkuli back to Heap. Net swing wins out and it's coming out worse for wear. Heap with a challenge. Looks like a nasty one to the possible ankle there for net swing. Yeah, look, Adamstown are putting the pressure on there. Obviously in a bit of a battle. And Swing probably came out second best, but they're applying the pressure. And let's hope this free kick can probably end up on Tanya Jones's head. I'd say they'd be aiming for.
That'd be the target.
Surprised Jen Doyle's not in on this one.
So it's a ball high into the air. Jones is the target, gets their head onto it. But Aquilina not troubled by that one.
I think those types of balls that come in, they're quite lofty. They're really difficult to get power on the header. So that one was a little bit hard for Jones to get some power in that header.
Certainly been a much improved last 10 minutes or so from the Buds. Got to be wary of Olympic, especially going forward. Here's Rosie Copus. Now the Wormsley in behind. Just looking for Howard. As the sun slowly starts to set over Darling Street Oval. We saw the earlier clash. Newcastle Olympic Reserve Grey running out 5-1 winners over Adamstown Rosebuds. So here's a chance for the Buds to break again. Great intervention. The Buds essentially calling for a handball there. Laurie will keep this one in. Now that long ball utilised again. It's about 3 plays in behind, and I think all of them are offside there, Tara.
Yeah, I think so. I think, look, it's the right idea from the Buds. Olympic had a pretty high line there, but they just need to check their shoulder, check along the line, and just hold their run a little bit longer there.
Don't know what the offside count is at the minute, but I'm sure it'll be up there as Hingston now for Olympic looking to thread it through to Rosie Copus. Net swing to Jones. There are numbers forward here for the Buds. Goes out left to Cook. Up against Heap. She's got the run forward of net swing. Net swing searching for options. Jones the target. Veta! Great hands from Isabel Aquilina there.
That was a good attack from Adamstown. I think they had 4 players sort of running forward and got that chance in the end. A little bit more power from Ash Veta there. Might have been handy.
Great hands though by Isabella Aquilina. Easy to pull off the save, but to keep it in her hands as well was Howard down the other end now. The cry is to shoot for McDonald, and that's what she'll do. Straight into the hands though of Snedden. Boskowski dispossessed. Jones now makes a run on forward. I think the flag should stay down for now. Jones in on goal. Not too many options with her up in support. Cross the face of goal. Cleared initially by Heap, but on the follow-up, net swing. Headed clearance there. Jess Evans it was. Still alive, Veta. Adamstown. Again, they'd love that second goal as Laurie, she kept this one in though. Despite her good efforts, that one will see the Newcastle Olympic throw-in.
Adamstown definitely pushing. I think end swing's been a good addition to obviously bring on. Added that little bit of a spark to the Buds up the front and being able to work with Jones as well.
Certainly up the intensity in this second half have the Buds. Here's one player who's been crucial, Veta. Taking on them themselves and now threading it through and on the cross on the far side. I'm pretty sure Cook would have been on side. She's leading that swing to chase. Martin Slade wanting the press on Olympic here, but Olympic have done well to play out house. Recycles to Kalgoorlie. Back into the space in the pocket of Copus. Maddie Howard and a strong challenge there from Veta. She wins her side of throw as well. Walmsley now under pressure from a few Adamstown players. Olympic struggling to clear this one. Jess Evans goes to ground. Really wanting a free kick there was Jess Evans. Play will resume.
Yeah, I think Jess Evans just used her body really well there, and she's a strong player, and Tanya just couldn't quite get around her.
Certainly scope for Adamstown to do something. Flag will go up again on Jones.
That was a risky step there by Olympic. It would have been very close. They nearly stepped a little bit too late, but I think Adamstown have to keep doing that. They have to keep trying to play in behind. They just need to focus on those runners and checking that line.
That's it, right? Because it looks like the right idea, because there's so much space that can be afforded in behind, but just that timing of the run has let Adamstown down. And I think not only today, I think it's let them down on a couple of occasions this year as well. So a shame for Martin Slade's side. Here's Olympic though at the other end. Jimmy House still on the hunt for a hat-trick. Ball played forward and There it is again, Tara, the offside flag raised.
I was actually talking to Martin Slade before the game, and we were talking about how, specific training for goalkeepers. You have a goalkeeper who trains, 40 minutes a session or whatever it may be, but you don't always get the time to do individual training of strikers or midfielders or the like. You might in more professional environments, but I'm sure if he had a little bit more time with his strikers, they'd do some work on timing of runs in behind and trying to curve your run and checking the line.
Maybe that's something for the Easter break training as an early shot taken. A bit of a fumble there from Sneddon. Yeah, maybe something to work on in their week off if they are still to train before the Buds head back home to Adamstown Oval to take on Maitland. That'll be a huge challenge after the Easter break.
It will be. I think anyone taking on Maitland, it's a tough ask, but
Jones there of strike into the hands of Aquilina.
She did well to get in the position she was and take that touch inside. That left foot just couldn't get enough power. Yeah, as I was saying, anyone that plays Maitland is always it's going to be a tough game, it. And what to expect is a team that plays the ball very quickly. They connect very well, and they're very lethal.
Sophie Cooks look to have time to run. The offside flag comes up. Yeah, like I mentioned, after the Easter break, it'll be Adamstown returning home to face Maitland, or for Newcastle Olympic. They head to the one and only Alder Park. I'm sure they'll be having their hands full that day, Tara.
Yeah, I hope that's a tough game for them. Yeah, I think it's always tough. A weekend off like this sort of slows the momentum for some teams. So every team will obviously have that weekend off, and it'll depend, which one sort of bounces back after that week off.
Coming. Substitution for Adamstown Oval. Coming from the field, number 10.
Some sides to have a break after what's been a busy start across all competitions. Just a reminder, you can catch every game live and 3 throughout the season on the Northern New South Wales YouTube channel across both reserve grade and first grade. No foul given. Now it's the battle as we approach the back end of this game. Players falling to the ground. Walmsley stays down for now. And the offside flag is raised against the Buds. Olympic will look to slow down the pace in this one. They look set for their first home win of the season, although football's a funny game. You can never count out a late comeback from the Buds.
That's right, anything can happen. They've got a bit of energy about them. A few through balls if they can just stay on side for one of these.
Staying on side and on the same wavelength is something that I feel like the Buds need to improve on.
Sounds like such a simple thing to do, but being on the same page as the...
Has Jones timed her run on side here. Flag stays down. A few options in the box, and Aquilina does well to prevent that one from a corner. Laurie and Howard going at it there. Adamstown having majority of the ball to finish this one. Net swing. Struggling for options. There is space out left if she can find it. Here comes Cook. Looking for the run of the far to left-hand side. Just couldn't find it. Now it's Olympic up the other end. Howard. Already with 2 goals to her name this season. Looks long early. Net swing now. There is space in behind if Adamstown can capitalise. Net swing out to Cook. Up against Heap. Recycles to the substitute, Granger. The pass. A bit too overhit on this right-hand side.
Yeah, those 2 Olympic players were tracking back well and coming to put pressure on Granger there. Not giving it much time to focus on that pass.
House going on a run of her own, in the mood for potentially a hat-trick, and Hingston gets on the end of this one. Back into the path of McDonald. Well read though by Laurie. Now can the runners time their run? Even if that pass would have made it through to Jones. She looked to have been far beyond the Olympic defence. Now Boskowski, ambitious. Just from inside her own half there.
Why not? They're obviously a little bit tired at this point.
Howard has that one clear. Mark Slade on his feet, as well as Neil Owens. Try and ride the emotions of the time that remains. Temperature starting to drop a little bit as well here at Darling Street Oval. Feel like it's now or never for the Bards. A little shoulder in the back there of Jones, but Olympic will have the throw. Had to work hard in the second half, Tara. Have Neil Owens aside.
They have, yeah. I think Adamstown haven't made it easy for them. It's been a good battle. There's a couple of little battles out there that have been niggling sort of all game, so it's not been easy. They're looking a little bit tired now, and they're just sort of trying to hold on and slow this clock down a little bit.
Well, as you would have seen, 4 minutes to go. Sorry, 2 minutes to go in this one, indicated by the fourth official. 2 more minutes for Adamstown to potentially get another offside, Tara. It's been the story of the afternoon.
I could bet you $100 if she just saw her halfway and did a standing start, she'd probably still be able to get to the ball first. Tanya Jones. Olympic are tired out there. Their backline's super high. And there's no need to try and take that run too early.
Well, I think Adamstown's goal come through Jones down the right-hand side when she timed her run well and took that initial strike, and then it fell to net swing. And it's just a matter of trying to stay on side, because especially with the way Newcastle Olympic play, there definitely is scope to get on in behind. But the second half especially, I'm sure Martin Slade will be not too impressed with the amount of times the flag has been raised.
That's better.
Looks like it'll stay down for now, though. Vetter in on goal to reduce the deficit. And with not long to go, Vetter's celebrating. Adamstown in a hurry now, with potentially the little time that remains to maybe salvage something. Who knows?
If I was Martin Slade, I'd take that video and I'd show the whole team and say, this is how you make a run. She ran along the line first and then darted in once the ball was played. That's a perfect run that if they'd been doing that all game, they might have had a couple more goals.
I think if you give Adamstown a few more minutes, they might have been able to salvage something. But is it too little too late? You'd think they'd have to get a move on and do so quickly now. Much improved second half. Don't count them out just yet. Net swing. Seconds remaining here at Darling Street Oval. Laurie looks to have stayed on side. She's got Jones in the box. Can Adamstown salvage something? And the ball into the box hits the side netting. You'd think that was the last chance, probably the last touch of the football this evening, Tara.
Yeah, look, it's disappointing there from Sophia Laurie. Just needed to cut it back just to try and give anyone a chance in that box. And I think that's one of the two stories of the night for Adamstown. The final pass, that final product, and staying on side.
The whistle hasn't been blown for now. Adamstown need to pump this into the box. Martin Slade on his feet, nervously watching on. 2 minutes was indicated, but still time for the Bards. Net swing, in on goal. She's got options in the box. Net swing. Said minutes ago, seconds even, that probably last attack for Adamstown would have been the last one. Well, that was a golden chance there.
It was a great turn by Enswing, a little reverse ball, and she just couldn't get enough on that with her left foot.
Here goes Howard now in behind. Sneddon out of her box, and a crunching challenge there from Howard. Sneddon will get the free kick, but you'd assume there would not be long left at all. Howard standing in front of the ball. Still we go on here at Darling Street Oval. And there we go. Well, despite a resilient Adamstown Rosebuds in the second half. It is Newcastle Olympic who pick up their first win at home this season. Goals to Gemma House, a brace for her, and Danelli secured 3 points, a much needed 3 points for Olympic. And Tara, despite a late surge from the Buds, they just couldn't salvage something.
Yeah, look, if the Buds had another 15 minutes in this game, I think, you know, they probably would have got another goal or two. I think if they tried to play like that a little bit more in the first half, they might have had more success, but that was Olympic getting very tired, and, you know, their back line was super high, and they sort of stopped chasing a little bit there. So really unlucky, I guess, result for Adamstown, but for Olympic, that's a really crucial 3 points for them.
Positives to take from both sides. But what a game it was to round out round 6 here from myself, Harry Scobie and Tara Andrews. Have a good night, enjoy your Easter, and we'll catch you for more action later in the season.